I was watching TV when I heard the doorbell ring. I got up, went to the door, and looked through the peephole. Crap. I wondered how the hell she managed to find me. I considered just going back to the TV and ignoring the doorbell. But then I decided that if she had put so much effort into finding me, she wouldn't leave until she got what she came for. I connected the chain and then opened the door, just enough so that we could see each other, and said, "What the hell do you want?" "Talk to you. Didn't my leaving tell you that I have no interest in ever seeing you again, let alone talking to you? I have no idea why you left. I came home and you were already gone. No note, just all your stuff gone." "Nonsense. How could you not know why? You heard me when I told you what would happen if you walked out the door. Can I come in?" I decided that I had better get this over with, unclasped the chain, stepped aside, and she came in, sat down on the sofa, and asked me for a glass of water. As I followed him, my thoughts went back to the night that started it all. I just got home from work and found my wife Alice getting dressed up. I didn't know we had plans for a date. Not with us. I have a date today. Date? With whom? You do not know him. The guy I work with. He's new to the office and doesn't know many people yet. He wanted to go to Sylvia's birthday party, but he didn't want to go alone, so he asked me to go with him. He knows you're married, doesn't he? It does not matter. Nothing will happen between us. Besides, I also don't want to go to Sylvia's party alone and you won't go with me. So I told him I'll go with him. And you know why I won't go. I can't stand being around that whore in round heels, and I don't want you to have anything to do with her. Get used to it, Sam. She's been my best friend since first grade, and I won't turn my back on her just because you don't like her. I don't like her because she got divorced 4 times, and each time it was because she was caught cheating on her husband. And I don't like going to her parties because of all the illegal drugs she has. So you think that just because she cheated, I will too, just because I'm close to her? I think this is very likely. Just look at yourself now. You're in your take-me outfit, little black dress, getting ready for a date with another man, obviously dressed for him, and I can only think of one reason to dress so sexy for him. It's disgusting what you say. No, that's not true. What did you wear to the last 2 parties at Sylvia's? I'll tell you in case I forgot. Once there were trousers and a blouse, another time, jeans and a sweater. There is no doubt in my mind why you are dressed this way for this party. Sylvia finally convinced you to try someone else. From the snippets of conversations I overheard, I know that she's been trying to get you to join her little orgies for years. I think she finally got what she was looking for. You're wrong. It's not like that at all. It's easy enough to prove that I'm wrong. Don't go. Stay here with me. I can't. Todd is counting on me. And he is more important to you than me? All I can tell Alice is that if you leave, you will kiss your marriage goodbye. Don't be funny. It won't hurt us at all. Don't wait for me, she said, heading towards the door. Goodbye, Alice, I said as she walked out the door. I think she heard the finality in the way I said it, and she hesitated for a second or two and then walked away. Did I overreact? I don't think so. I was good friends with many of the guys in Sylvia's circle, and from them I learned everything about what happened at Sylvia's parties. After people who didn't want to participate left, the parties turned into orgies. I figured that even though Alice wasn't taking part, she was still around and watching. I also heard Sylvia say to Alice, "Forget about that faggot you're married to and join in. You know you want to," and that Alice always answered that yes, she wanted to, but she wouldn't because I didn't join. My joining could never happen. I spent countless hours trying to get Alice to break up with Sylvia and stop going to her parties, but I could never get it done because of her relationship with her best friend. I spent a good part of the evening wondering what I should do. I was thinking about divorce, but I really didn't know if Alice would cheat. But could I live with her given her "fuck you, Sam, I'm leaving" attitude? I had what I thought were 7 wonderful years with her. The only bad thing was that she was always hanging out with Sylvia, who I just couldn't stand. She was trash as far as I was concerned, and Alice knew my attitude. The ringing of the bedside phone woke me up, and when I sat up, I saw the time on the alarm clock and wondered who would call me at 1 in the morning. Hello? Hey, idiot. Did I wake you up? What do you want, Sylvia? I'm just calling to let you know that your wife has finally found a real man. What the hell are you talking about? Just what I said. Alice found herself a real man. A man who can give her what she really needs. Now just listen. And I heard the sounds of people having sex. And then I heard, "Oh God, yes. Take me please. Take me harder." The voice was my wife's. I hung up. 30 seconds later, the phone rang again, and I knew who it would be, so I picked it up and dropped it on the floor. One of the benefits of living in an apartment is that you don't accumulate a lot of stuff because you have nowhere to put it. I had everything I wanted packed and out of the truck in just over an hour. I was at the motel by 3 and at the bank by 9 when the doors opened. I cleared all the accounts and then went to my job and told Jake I was quitting without notice and why. He said he understood, wrote me a final check, helped me load the tools, said he could give me recommendations, and wished me well. My phone has been ringing since 7, and all the calls were from Alice. Finally, I turned it off and made a mental note to get a new number. Then I changed my mind. I didn't know if Alice would be able to get a new number from our cell phone provider or not. I decided to throw the phone in the trash and buy a track phone from Walmart. I didn't have to do anything with credit cards since Alice and I didn't have any cards together. She had 2 in her name, and I had 3 in mine. By 10, I was already on my way to a destination that I had not yet determined. All I knew was that it had to be miles away from Alice. I finally landed in Castle Rock, Colorado. I found a job in my field and settled down to start a new life. If there was a divorce, she would know where I am. In a year, she could use the refusal as a reason. The only downside to this is that I would never find out about the divorce. But that didn't really matter back then because I had no plans to ever get married again. The next 2 years passed and life was good. I dated some women and had a friend with benefits. And now this. You heard me when I told you what would happen if you went on this date. You ignored me, went on that date, and I did what I said I was going to do. How did you find me? A very expensive private detective. Why do you need this? You are my husband. How did you find the money to pay a very expensive private detective for your secretary's salary? I sold the house. Which house? The one I received in court. I started to ask but caught myself. It just didn't matter. Well, you wasted your money and the time it took you to get here because we're done. You did exactly what I knew you were going to do when you left me to go to that party, and don't bother wasting your time trying to tell me nothing happened. Your best friend called me at 1 in the morning and then held the phone so that I could listen to what was happening. Your, "Oh God, yes, take me, please take me harder," came loud and clear and said it all. She made it? I probably should have gotten back at her harder than I did. I think I need to tell you what happened since you weren't there to see or hear about it. I did not go to that party to get screwed. This was the farthest thing from my thoughts. Yes, I changed for the party, but Sylvia asked me to. For some reason, she didn't like Todd, or so she said, but she couldn't tell him not to come to the party because it was an open invitation to everyone in the office. She asked me to dress sexy and let him think he was lucky. I like to dress up, and that's what I did. Todd actually took one look at me and thought he was going to hit the jackpot that night. He stuck to me as if glued, almost as if I was afraid that if he wasn't there, someone else might get to me. It was a fun party, and although Todd was hanging around, I think the other guys thought I looked hot that night, and I was dancing with a few guys. As soon as the party ended, my head started spinning and swimming. Sylvia told me that I had drunk too much that night and she put me to bed in one of her spare bedrooms. I don't know how or when it started, but I gradually realized that they were making love to me. I thought I was home in bed with you until I heard someone say, "Hurry up, okay? I'm next." I looked around and saw Sylvia on the bed next to me, Todd and Ben Grady. I saw several other guys standing around naked. One of them was obviously going to be next. You know me, Sam. You know how I feel when we make love. I get lost. I become a sex machine. I don't know how many of them did this to me before I passed out. The next morning I woke up next to Bob Flanagan. He lay leaning on his elbow and looked at me. I saw the expression on his face and asked, "What?" "I just never thought you'd cheat on Sam. Glad you did it, though. I hope to see you again, but I slapped him on the cheek, got dressed, and went to the hospital. They tested me and found traces of Rohypnol and ecstasy in my blood, and then called the police. While I was waiting for the police, I tried to call you, but I didn't get an answer. I realized why I couldn't contact you when I returned home and found you gone. When the police talked to me, I told them everything I knew and what little I remembered. The first person they talked to was Flanagan, and he told them he had no idea I was drugged and high, and he didn't think about taking me. But that's what always happened at Sylvia's parties, and I knew it, and had even stood up before nearby and watched. He said that he decided that I had finally decided to try. He told them the names of all the guys he knew who had sex with me that night. The police thought Todd must have been part of what happened to me that night, and when they got on him, he rolled over and told them it was all Sylvia's doing. She knew I was hesitant about joining, so she decided to push me. She decided that once the illicit drug wore off, I would still continue and I would enjoy it and want to do it again. She was right about that. I really liked it, but here's where she screwed up. She didn't pay any attention to the fact that I told her over and over again that I wouldn't join without you. You had to agree to this, otherwise I wouldn't have done it. As soon as I was done with the hospital and the policeman took me home, and I realized why I couldn't call you. I broke down and cried for 2 days, and then I called a lawyer and filed a lawsuit against everyone who was at that party and who offended me. Most of the lawsuits were thrown out because they all said the same thing Flanagan said, but the lawsuits against Sylvia and Todd were valid because the two of them conspired against me. I won my claims, but Sylvia had nothing but her house, so they asked me if I would agree to it. She owed $30,000 on it, but with what I got from Todd, I was able to pay it off, and then I sold it. As soon as I had money from selling the house, I hired a private investigator, and here I am. And you spent your money on a private detective and the time it took you to get here for what? So that we can be together again. I love you and belong to you. You would be smarter to spend your money on a lawyer to get a divorce. You could use abandonment as a basis. I don't want a divorce, Sam. What you want or don't want doesn't matter to me anymore, Alice. I didn't do it of my own free will, Sam. I was drugged. I was high. But you walked out the door willingly, even though I told you that if you walked out that door, you would kiss your marriage goodbye. Well, you ignored what I said and walked out. Again, the way I left should have told you that you wasted your time and money to get here. I have to be here if I want us to be together again. You're not paying attention to what I'm saying now about what you did that evening when you left me. Pay attention, Alice. I don't want you. You can't bring us back together again because I don't want to. I don't want to date again a woman who can do what you did. Damn it, Sam. Can't you understand that I didn't do this of my own free will? It's you who don't understand anything, Alice. This is not what happened with Sylvia, although I expected it to happen and I warned that it might happen. That's what you did the moment you walked out the door to go see Sylvia. It was a complete disrespect for me that you showed before leaving on a date. Your "don't be funny, Sam, it won't hurt us at all," as you walked out the door to go on a date with another man killed any us there might have been. Now please go away. I need to get ready for dinner. I'm hungry. I'll eat with you and we can talk. I'm going to convince you that you're wrong, that we can't put it all together. Her words didn't have time to die down when the front door opened and an extremely beautiful blonde walked in, shouting, "I'm home, baby. What's for dinner?" Then she saw Alice and asked, "Who is this?" "This is Alice. You've heard me talk about her once or twice. Alice, this is Beverly." Beverly surprised Alice when she walked up to her, leaned over, hugged her, and said, "Thank you for sending Sam to me," and then turned to me and asked what was for dinner. "I think we'll go somewhere. I made a reservation with Angelo." "I'll go change. Nice to meet you, Alice. Maybe we can get together sometime and compare experiences." And then she headed to the bedroom. "You need to leave now, Alice. I need to change for dinner." "Does she know that you are married?" "She knows." "You need to let her know that I will fight for you, Sam." "Wake up, Alice. For you to fight for me, you would need to spend time with me, and that just won't happen. Get a divorce and find yourself another man. And when you find him, don't put the crap on him that you brought on me." Tears were streaming down her cheeks as she said, "Damn it, Sam. Why can't you understand that I didn't cheat on you? I was high against my will." "So what the hell? In order for you to be pumped full of drugs, you had to be there, and that's the whole point. I told you not to go. I told you when you opened the door to leave that if you left, you would kiss your marriage goodbye. You ignored me. You left. The marriage is over. It's that simple. Now please go away. I need to get ready for a dinner date." "I'm not going to divorce you, Sam, and you should tell your girlfriend about this. She can never marry you. She can't marry me anyway. She is already married, and in the same boat as me. Her husband won't give her a divorce, and she won't spend money trying to get one. I'll go, but I won't go far. I can't bring you back from a long distance, so I'm moving here. I'm going to take you back." "Nonsense, Alice. I've already said this several times, and you need to get it into your head that I'm serious. I do not want you. Now go," she cried, but left. Bev walked into the room, and she looked radiant. "Why aren't you ready? Decided not to go?" "No, it just took me longer to get rid of it than I thought." "Is she gone forever?" "It must be. I made it clear to her that I wanted nothing to do with her." "That's good, because I'm not going to let you get away from me." I smiled at this and said, 10 minutes, and I'll be ready. Subscribe to our channel so that your second chaff doesn't cheat on you, and go ahead and listen to the next story, because this story is nothing compared to the next one. If you're under 18, don't even think about listening to the next one.